Alright, I'm going to show you Judy's Magic Toe-Up Cast On using double point needles, and this cast on is quite difficult using double point needles, so if at all possible, even if you don't knit using a circular or two circulars, it is a good idea to cast on using that method, and then you can transfer to double point needles after the first couple of rounds. That would make things a lot easier, but this is not impossible. However, it is awkward and quite difficult for the first round, so you'll have to bear with me. I'm using a set of 5, which just is better to knit socks with because you can split your instep over 2 needles and your heel over 2 needles, and it just makes all your increasing very easy. But for now we only need 2. We take our 2 needles top and bottom. We take about 12 to 18 inches of yarn, drape it through the middle with the tail over the back. So the tail's over there, the working yarn here, the tail goes over my index finger, the working yarn over my thumb, and I just gather the rest of the yarn in my left hand. I'm just using my index finger here with my right hand to hold the stitch. Alright, my index finger is going to make all the stitches on the bottom needle, and my thumb is going to make all the stitches on the top needle, and we're just going to alternate finger and thumb. Okay, the first stitch is made by the index finger around underneath the bottom needle and into the middle. Then the thumb takes the yarn under in the middle and over the back needle. Under the bottom, into the middle, over the top. Under, middle, middle, top, under, middle. And now we're up to 4 stitches each. So we just keep on going with this method, in and over, under, in. Okay, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. I'm going to do 12 on each one just for ease. So 10, 10, 11, 11, 12, 12. Alright, 12 on each needle. Now I'm going to turn the work around. My tail is dangling down the middle in between the 2 needles. Don't let that go. When I knit, we're going to knit the stitches along this top needle here. I'm going to wrap my working yarn to sort of anchor the tail in place there. Okay, new needle. This is the hardest that it gets. It's going to be quite difficult to knit these stitches. If I was using the circular method, these bottom stitches would be lying on a cable, which just makes things a lot more flexible. But nevertheless, we're going to give it a go. I'm going to knit 6 stitches onto this needle. Now I find it's a good idea to slide the bottom needle sort of right out so the stitches are about in the middle. Just makes things much easier and makes you not as likely to accidentally slip stitches off the bottom needle. Okay, 1. 2, and that first stitch will be a bit loose, doesn't matter, just tug the tail down a bit and that snugs it right up. 3, get away tail. 4, 5. I'm sorry if I'm making this look awkward, but it is awkward. 6 stitches. Okay, and I'll just pull that tail again a little bit just to tighten that up. 6 stitches. Now I'm just going to ignore that needle. New needle. I'm going to knit these 6 now, and now that those stitches are off, I can sort of maneuver this needle a bit better with the other stitches to just get those 2 needles apart, which makes it easier to knit these next stitches. Okay, so we'll knit these 6 now. 1, And using wood needles is good for me because it means that the stitches don't just slide right off. 3, 4, 5, 6. Hooray! One down. Now I have to knit these 12, so I'll just take the needle I just had, and again I'll slide those stitches right onto the middle so they don't accidentally come off. Slide those stitches down, and here we go. 1, 2. Things are getting a bit easier now, even though it still does look awkward. 3, 4, 'Get on there, little stitches. Just take your time. There's no need to be rushing this. Obviously, once you start it, it becomes much, much easier. So, alright, 6. Only 6 to go. One. Things are getting much, much easier now, but still looking messy. 3, 4, 5, and 6. Da-da! Now we have what looks like an absolute mess, but is actually a little circle there on the 4 needles. I'll just slide all the stitches to the middle of the needle and unravel this working yarn a little bit. So you can see in the middle you do end up with the same effect. You've got virtually 2 rows of unbroken stocking stitch in the middle there, which just looks fantastic. Much, much better than a Kitchener graft, I think. And now we're ready to knit our first round, and of course you can sort of see that things are in a little bit of a circle there. We're just going around this way with our double point needles, and things will just get easier and easier from here. We're ready to start our increase round into this stitch here. Okay, if you've chosen to use this method with double point needles, fantastic, good luck.